Hey guys, welcome to Mindshift. Today we're going to have a very special episode with a very special person. We're going to talk about starting anew. The new year started 2022, and together with my friend and co-author Tassos Stavropoulos, we are going to talk about this. I'm going to introduce him in a bit. Just for everyone who is listening for the first time, Mindshift is my video series, which is directed towards people who want to grow, people who want to develop, people who want to create these atomic shifts in their mind so that they can create a life with more prosperity, with more love, with more satisfaction, and just people who are coming here, they really um, want to create the best version of their life, and they're doing it every single day. So what is going to happen now? I'm going to talk a little bit about Tassos. Tassos, I met him uh, because he was a co-author in the book which I was co-authoring, Visionary Male Leaders. We had a great journey together of creating our chapters and creating this amazing book, which actually got a best-selling ranking in several countries in the world, which we are really proud of. Tassos is a fellow coach. He actually graduated the same academy I graduated, IPEC, and he's a mindfulness coach. He's also a person who loves exploring philosophies of cultures of different countries. He's been in more than 25 countries. In his previous life he was a manager in a big corporation. We're going to talk a little bit more about it and the big changes he created in his life after he left his job. And he started his inside out revolution in 2019, 2020, when he created so many shifts in his life. And that's why, actually, that was one of the reasons why I invited him, because recently he created this starting a new thing for himself. And I think he has a lot of things to share with us based on his recent experience on that. So welcome, Tassos. Welcome here in Mindshift.
Thank you so much, Dimi. It's wonderful being here with you. Thank you for this invitation. And what a great opportunity to talk about starting anew in the beginning of the year, in the beginning of this new year. Although I think that, the message that we can spread out in the world is that we can start anew every day in our lives.
Mm, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. I mean, let's start with the first part of what we want to talk about today. And this is about your story, a story of starting anew. And I was really inspired of the story you shared with me, because it's not only about the job, it's about personal changes you had in your life. So actually, it seems to me that your life actually turned, I wouldn't say upside down, but it turned around after all of these experiences which came together in your life. So share with us your story, which can be as an inspiration for the beginning of this session.
Thank you. So, first of all, I would like to tell you and everybody that I'm an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. And as soon as I finished engineering and I did an MBA, my dream was to work in a plant, to work in a multinational company and become a plant manager. So I have been working in different industries for the last 20 years, more than 20 years. And in the last company I was working for, I worked in every position in the supply chain. So from quality control to production planning, logistics, production logistics manager, which is plant manager, and eventually operations manager. So it seemed that my dream that I had, as a student when I was studying engineering, was already achieved. Nonetheless, we never know what life is what life's plan is for us. And in Forrest Gump, I remember, Tom Hanks was saying that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find. So in the last 3 years of my life, although I loved my work, I felt that I was in conflict with my own values, and I wasn't feeling calm inside. I wasn't feeling complete inside. I felt that there was something more that I wanted to do. There was a different way I wanted to show up in the world. This started from a relationship with my supervisor in the last years, which has nothing to say. I mean, there's no right or wrong. You know, everybody have their own perspective, and we're all unique human beings. But it's just that I didn't feel aligned with who I truly was. So I happened to find, you know, this advert about the coaching program. This was before we started at IPEC together. And by the end of 2019, this journey started. I started the coaching program in Greece, which was a 1-year program. And, you know, after the first month, I started finding Tassos again. I started finding myself and being more aligned to who I was and who I really wanted to be. So in this journey, I put my boundaries, and I decided to follow my heart and do what I want to do in life. So I changed completely course. I stopped after 22 years of working in multinational companies as an engineer and manager, and I started from scratch being a coach. Then I felt that I wanted to learn more because I have a passion for learning. Learning is for me, you know, something that I love to do, and I'm sure that I'm going to do it forever. You know, every day I want to learn something and expand my awareness. So that was when I started IPEC. And after that, I had my own company and I started my coaching sessions. So this was the first part of starting professionally from scratch. And the second part was that at the same time, I divorced with my wife. We were married. We were happily married for 6 years together. But in the last years, we both felt that we were vibrating in different frequencies. And to be honest, you know, I think that we also had our egos too high, and we didn't compromise with each other. So, you know, in the midst of changing from an engineer to a coach and studying and taking this completely different approach, at the same time, things were changing in my relationship. So in the beginning, we were not together for since the beginning of 2020. This was not one of my goals. Like you know, I didn't consciously want to divorce my wife. So for 1 year, I gave the best that I had in order to reconnect with her. Then I finally realized that, you know, everybody has their own path, and it's perfectly well and perfectly accepted. And I also went along my life. So this is in a nutshell. And it started, let's say, you know, these changes started in 2020, were concluded by the end of 2020, but also 2021 was a year of a lot of lessons, and a year that in which I continued my inward journey.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, Tassos. I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit more about 2021 in the next part of this conversation, but what I can say is I'm really admiring your courage to actually do all of this, like, you know, decide to change direction in your career after 20 something years in corporate, and then get divorced with, you know, with your wife, which is, everyone knows, it's not easy thing to do. So it seems to me that for a year or something, you just decided to totally start anew. which is very scary for people, I think. What was the main thing you think, the main reason, the main catalyst, which helped you to really follow through with these
Mm.
decisions?
Well, I can tell you it was scary for me as well. Um, in both cases, it was scary. Okay, in the case of my job, I wanted to change. So I consciously wanted to make this step. But then, we are all products of our experiences and the way that we are conditioned by our parents, our friends, our teachers, and society in general. And there's this saying in the community around us that you shouldn't change work until you find another one. So this was scary for me because, as I said, in the last 2 years, I felt in conflict with my values. I wanted to make a change, but I was afraid to do it. And in fact, I didn't want to find a new job. I wanted to just stop, relax, and connect with myself, and then start anew. But the people that I asked, their advice was, no, don't stop with your work. Go on until you find a new one. But then this, made the pressure bigger inside of me. So the catalyst that you asked for was coaching. Coaching helped me to find my own boundaries, helped me to face my fears, and follow my heart. So then this was something that I did consciously and with love and with courage. And I didn't think about the next day, because I knew that as long as I would do something that was meaningful to me and I would be aligned with who I truly am, I knew without knowing that this would create a new flow in my life and a new start in my life. The catalyst for my personal change, well, in this case, I didn't want to get a divorce because I loved my wife. I knew that we were different in some ways, and we were vibrating probably in different frequencies. But for me, it was more difficult. I did my best to reconnect for a year. The catalyst was that after working with myself, I realized that, okay, I love my wife, but I love my wife. I still love her, but in a different way. Okay, I care about her, but it wasn't my love for my wife that kept me from starting anew and wanting to reconnect with her. It was my fear of starting personally my life at 50 alone by myself. So I had to face this fear, and I also realized, and this was a great lesson to me, that unconsciously I had this urge of being approved by others, and this was throughout my life, okay, in my professional life, but also in my personal life, and I felt that I wanted to be approved by her and be accepted and reconnect with her. So I just realized that eventually this was a fear that I had and a need that I had that didn't come from my pure love for her, but it had to do with me. So I just let go the need to be approved by others, and last year, so 2021, was the first year in my life that I felt completely peaceful and complete inside, without the need to be approved or without the need to accomplish something. So in this case, I had to overcome my fears, and the journey was longer there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank you for sharing that, man. I mean, it's really vulnerable, especially for a man, to share that, which shows how courageous you got throughout this year is to just share your story and your, fears you had to overcome. And I just want to share before we go to the next topic, guys, that you want to see that he's 50 years old. He did all these decisions not when he was 20, but when he was around 50, which a lot of people are afraid to do because they're afraid that they're going to be alone and they don't know what to do. He started a new career at this age and a new life, private life with that. So I want that to be example for you, and just to, no matter how old you are, that you always have a choice to start anew, and not only have a choice, but you can make it. You can create. You can go to the next level of your life when you start anew. That's very important to know. And I've started my life several times anew in the last 12, 13 years when I went to personal growth. And every time when I started, I had fear, I had doubts, but I can tell you 100% that it was worth it, because I was following my instincts, my intuition, you could say. Like uh, Tassos shared that now he's more aligned with who he is, and the same is with me. So every one of us knows. I'm sure that we know when we need to start anew. Just these fears and doubts stay on the way, and that's why we're going to talk a little bit more now. The next topic we have, how actually we can create environment for ourselves so that it will be a little bit more easier, and we're going to be more confident when we start and do something new. So let's go to the next topic we have for today, which is we're going to talk about um, reflection. So before we start creating something new, first, a great idea is to reflect on what happened. We're going to talk about this year. So what we're going to create, how we're going to start anew this year. So what we're going to try now with Tassos is to make a short reflection of what happened last year. So what we learned last year, what was the good things we accomplished last year, what we what we lost last year, all of these things. So which are going to create this kind of place, environment, which is going to help us to create intentions after that, and how we can actually go through with that intentions. So I'm going to give the word to Tassos to start with his reflection for actually what happened. You can do it for the last year, you can do it the last 2 years. I mean, the way you feel like is the best for you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dimi. I love this thing that you're saying. Starting from the learnings of the previous year, because the learnings give us clarity and give us confidence and give us perspective also for the new year. Yeah. So I had some very important learnings in 2021, continuing with this inward journey that had started by the end of 2019. The first learning was to treat myself and others in the world around me with respect, kindness, patience, and understanding. And this came out because several times during the year in certain collaborations that created stress in me or created anger in me because nothing was going on, promises were not being kept. I found out, that just changing my own energy and being, respecting and being kind to myself first of all, but also to others, and respecting their journey, their style, be kind to them, and be patient and understanding. This, opened doors, and eventually things that were stuck started being in flow. So this was the first learning for me. The second learning, and possibly the biggest of all, was that I found out that unconsciously I had this need to be approved by others in my life, and probably from this came my biggest win in the previous year, that I felt complete without the need to be approved and without the need to accomplish anything, just by being me, basically. Another very important learning is to accept others as they are and not as we want them to be.
Mm.
And this had to do with my expectations of people. I always had high expectations of myself and of others, especially of the people that my loved ones and the people that surrounded me. But then expecting others to be like you want them to be is not accepting them. So this was a great learning for me, accepting the others as they are and not as we want them to be. And the final one was to appreciate everything, expect nothing, and be open and spacious, and welcome any experience of in my life, because any experience, no matter how difficult it may seem, can be a great teacher for us and can help us start anew and expand our awareness. So and these were in short the learnings of 2021 for me.
So what was some of your accomplishment in this year, in your opinion? Maybe 1, 2, 3
Well,
accomplishments.
the greatest accomplishment in this year was the fact that continuing with this inward journey of change, of personal change and of professional change that started by the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020, I continued my inward journey, and I started to become more present in every moment. I started to be more present with others, more present and more connected to myself. So, oftentimes we go out for a friend with a friend for a beer, or because of COVID, we cannot do this very easily. But then we talk to others, through Zoom, like we're doing now, and we don't have the time, to spend to ourselves. So this was a great opportunity to dive into myself, connecting to myself, and continue this inward journey. And this helped me to create some new habits in my life, some new healthy habits. And these healthy habits created flow in my life. And for example, I started the habit of waking up every day. I have a morning routine. Okay, so the morning routine is half an hour stretching or yoga exercises and half an hour meditation, and then I take the dogs out for another half an hour, and then before breakfast I do a small cleaning of the house. It takes a quarter because I have 2 dogs in the apartment. So this morning routine, doing it every day, helped me to create new habits that were difficult for me to have created in the past. And it could be small things like reducing the content of the caffeine that I had, or not drinking even a glass of wine at night in order to sleep better, or reading a book. I love books. I have a library with more than 100 books, and in the last 20 years, I had the difficulty in reading the books because I started the book and I stopped it. So now, I created a habit that I devote half an hour every day to read a book. So a lot of new habits were created in this year.
Wow. So Tassos, I mean, I just wanted to share with you guys that you can hear that the accomplishments Tassos has, they are big one and small one. So there are many of them, and they are different sizes, but all of them are important. Because, for example, the habit of reading half an hour a book sounds, in the beginning it's like small, but it's not, because if you put that for a year, you can see how many hours you're reading and how much more information you get in your life based on where you want to develop yourself. So thank you, Tassos, for sharing. I'm going to share also that when I reflect back the last maybe 1.5 years, I'm going to say 1.5 because there are many specific big changes in my life which happened like in the middle or towards the end of 2020, and I put this 1.5 year together for me. Some of the big things which happened and lessons which I learned is that we cannot the first one is definitely that we cannot expect other people to love us and to give us the love we are needing. Like we just want to learn how to do that for for ourselves. It's a big one, and it's part of, not part, but my chapter in the book, which we have together with you, Visionary Male Leader. It's about self-love. So a big realization for me was that actually it's not about the other person, it's about the love, it's about the emotional connection you want when it comes to intimate relationship, because that was one of the biggest changes I had as well, um, uh, in this period, and realizing that I can do that for myself. I can really give myself a big part of the love I want and I need. It was a big change, big breakthrough for me in my life. And that helped me not only in my personal life, but also in my professional life. And I would say that the big accomplishment which I got in my coaching practice was very big part of that was learning to be with myself in this way, to be compassionate, to be loving, to be understanding towards myself. Um, it's a big one. I mean, um, another thing is that we um, we cannot expect people to be in our life until the end of our life. What I mean by that is, in this period, I had to let go of some very close people in my life, um, for different reasons. But the realization that, and I also had this metaphor on that I see now life as, you're in your own train and you're traveling through your life, and in some place, some people are coming up in your train and they travel with you, but at some point they just go, and sooner or later everyone will go. And realizing that helps me to, I still have grief, which is normal when I let go of some people, but but it is with a little bit more understanding and grace when I go to that right now, that it's normal to do that. It's that from the beginning until the end of our life, the only person who is going to be there is me. And realizing that maybe sounds simple, but it's not, because that can change totally your experience of life. And it's not only about people, but about also, you could say, money, about experiences in life, about the place you live, that it won't be maybe until the end of your life you're going to be in one place. All of this creates a little bit more understanding, and that helped me a lot to move through life right now and to be more courageous and more decisive in life. Um, and another thing is that I totally realized, I mean, I knew it before, but the moment you start valuing yourself uh, more, you start seeing how the other people value you more as well. Your friends, your family, women or men, it doesn't matter. It depends of, what kind of gender you are. Um, your clients. Um, I could raise my fees several times last year just because of that, because I got a little way more appreciative towards myself, which was really helpful. And that was one of my biggest accomplishments, that I could really go to the next level of my practice when it comes to net worth and money which I made from that. And that was the reason for that, was that I started seeing myself as more valuable, and I started getting more in the place that I realized every time, not every time, but I realized more and more my value as a coach, my value as a man, my value as a human being in general. So what I'm trying to say with the last one is that, guys, sometimes it sounds really uh, not practical when we talk about self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, but it's very practical when it comes to our life, because once we do that, the practical stuff in our life start changing. And that's super important to realize, because I'm in my intention part, I'm going to talk more about this again, but yeah, that was very important. And one another accomplishment which I can say from the last year was definitely that I could really learn that I can be really okay alone. I don't have to have anyone with me in life when it comes to intimate partner, but the reason to want intimate partner right now changed than before. Before, it was more about I might feel a little bit lonely myself. I have some needs which have to be fulfilled. Now it's more about with my new intimate partner, we are gonna grow together. We are gonna become more of the best version of ourselves when we are together because we're gonna help each other to speed up the process. And that's different motivation, right? It's not coming from a place of lack, but it's coming from a place of abundance, from a place of yes, I can do it myself, but with a partner we can do it a little bit faster, and maybe it will be a bit more fun. So that's some of the things which I want to reflect. And as I said, I had also a lot of failures in this year, failures of really getting some clients which I wanted to get, failures of going out with some girls which I wanted, failures with creating a partnership with some people. As I said, I let go some people from my life. That was kind of failure, but actually, when you see it from a side, you see that it's more of learning than failure, right? So that's another learning from reflection from my side, that I saw more and more that there are no failures, but there are only lessons. And when you see it like this, you are really excited to try new things because you know anyways you're gonna get something out of it eventually. So yeah, that's my reflection for 2022 or a little bit before.
I love these reflections and these lessons, Damien. And I just want to say a couple of things for the last two that you mentioned. It's so true that when we want to fill a void space that we have inside because of a lack of need, then we keep wanting something, chasing something, and this creates stress, and eventually we will never going to find what we want in order to feel calm and complete inside. But from this part of love and abundance that you mentioned, is that you feel complete already inside without needing to do something, and then resting knowing that being with a partner will bring synergies and will proliferate this feeling and this contribution and collaboration between the two. So it's something
Absolutely.
love and abundance, and I love what you said about that.
Yeah, it's love and abundance, exactly.
And also the reflection about failures. Sometimes we tend to label things, and when we label things, our mind gets used to this label, and subconsciously it creates a feeling. So if we label something as a failure, the feeling that is created is that I'm not good enough, that I cannot achieve that. So putting this label aside and just reframing failure as a life experience and as a learning, as a message for us of how can we reframe that, and how can we be in something similar in the future, and what can we learn from that? Then we are always again from a place of learning and creating a positive feeling and moving forward. And we're not letting these experiences block us. We're using these experiences to fuel our impetus and move us forward.
Absolutely, that's very well said, man. Thank you for sharing that reflection of my reflection, because that's really important. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to the intention part. Now when we have the reflection, guys. So that's just an example of how me and Tassos decided to make the reflection, but you can do your own reflection the way you want. Just doing it is very important for us to realize what happened actually the last 1 year or 2 years in our life. So now we're going to talk about the intentions, what we want actually, how we can want, what does start anew for this year means for us, and what we want to accomplish, or what we want to focus on this year, 2022. So Tassos, you can be the first one. you share with us that.
Thank you, Dini. So I think that I would separate my intentions into two main parts. And the first part has to do with my inward journey, because this is something that will continue, and it will continue every day and every month and every year. So regarding my inward journey, my intention for this year is to accept all the spectrum of my feelings. So whatever I feel, and I'm not talking about the in inverted commas positive feelings, but also about the negative feelings, such as anger, resentment, fear, or whatever. To hold them in loving kindness, okay? To hold these feelings in loving kindness, be present in the moment, and connect with my body and with my breath, and try to ask what does these feelings want to tell me? What is the message that they want to bring to me? What is the value that they're connected to? Because when I get angry sometimes is because so something is in conflict with my values. So what is my values that are connected with this feeling? And if I'm angry and if I'm resentful, what is the impact that I have to myself and to others? And how can I reframe the behavior that I have in the moment, in a difficult moment, into something that will change this impact? And how can I use the value that this feeling connects to in a way that is beneficial for myself and others and the world around me? So this is the first intention of feeling, embracing, accepting, and all the spectrum of my feelings, and consciously choosing how I'm going to be and how I'm going to behave. And this is also connected, with some unconscious, let's say, behaviors that we have, because, as I said, in the previous parts that we discussed, last year I created new healthy habits. Nonetheless, we all have some habits that sometimes are on autopilot, are unconscious. So connected with that is to break the pattern of these unconscious habits that I don't like. For example, if I'm triggered by something, again, trying to reframe that in the moment, be present in the moment, connect to myself, and just let go of the need to be right, or let go of the need to protect myself and others, and just accept. And even if we're triggered, we don't have to respond. We don't have to react. We can just accept, smile, and let go. And in this way, we feel more peaceful inside. And also, we create the environment and conditions for others to be more serene and more calm. So, these are two things that have to do with my inward journey. And regarding, the way that I show up into the world, also not just personally but also professionally, this is the year that I want to give more back to the world. I want to help people to create more purposeful and meaningful lives, to follow their hearts, okay, and to do things that they love, not because they have to do things or they should do things or somebody told them to do it or this is the condition of society, but just follow their hearts, face their fears, turn their fears into creativity, and get out of their comfort zone and just live the way they want to and the way that their hearts tell them. And how to do that? Just show up as I am, and continue with my coaching business and creating also some purposeful collaborations with wonderful people like you in order to create synergies and move towards this direction of giving back, let's say. Okay.
Yeah.
So from a place that is full, and this is why I insist on the inward journey first, because you cannot give if your glass is empty. You have to fill your energy glass first and then start giving. So it's very important to do these things in parallel. Work with yourself, connect with yourself and the world around you, continue with your inward journey, and then resting knowing that things will unfold organically and naturally at the right time and exactly as they're meant to be. And then
Absolutely.
you will start giving to the world.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing. It is true. The inner journey is so important, and people cannot even not be in general. I also was not throughout the years knew a lot of things about that, but slowly I really get to embody this idea of really. I understood actually the impact after I really went through the journey and had the patience for a while to really see the results, because you need to wait a little bit to have patience to see the results in your life, the physical, the the hard results, you could say. So for me this year I have.
May I make a very small interaction, because I like what you're saying, and
Yeah.
patience is a very big thing. But what I would like to consider, thinking about that, is that this inward journey is like planting the seeds. So when we're planting the seeds, we cannot expect that the tree will flourish immediately. It takes time for the tree to grow, and it takes time for the tree to have roots. So the inward journey is planting the seeds of who you want to be. And this will come. And it doesn't matter if it will come in 1 year, in 2 years, or 3 years. Keep moving. Because as soon as you know that you're moving in the right direction, then, wonderful things will happen in the end.
Yeah,
And the tree will
absolutely.
flourish and will with very good roots also.
Yeah, I just wanted to share also with the guy, with everyone, that me and Tassos, the one of the common thing between us is that we are kind of a contemporary philosopher type of people. We weren't really to. I just want to share that because that's super important for people, that we really like going in the depth of things, And when we have conversations, sometimes we have weekly or bi-weekly conversations with him, and we talk about this stuff. So it's so important to really go there in depth and understand this stuff in order to make change. Because once you get it, then it's way easier to make the change, right? So so one of the things, so what I want to get, my intention for this year is very simple, and the intention is 10x my worth, 10x my worth. That's it. That's the intention, but the worth is divided to different things. It is self-worth, it is net worth, it is intimate worth, it's private worth, public worth. Sorry. So what I mean by that is, my big intention for this year is to really, with the changes I'm gonna make in my life, I'm gonna really 10x my worth in every area in my life, in my business, in my self, towards myself, towards the person next to me, and towards the public in general. And they're connected with each other, but it's very important to work on different parts of them, so that um, that that we can really create the wave we want to create, that I want to create. So what I mean by that is that once once I really develop my worth as a person, internal worth, as you said, the first thing is to go internally and find the way to see yourself in different way. Then you can translate that in different areas in your life. But it doesn't mean that you don't work in different areas, right? You work in all the areas together, so that I can create what I want for this intention for this year. And it's important for me because once I create my worth, I work on my worth, I'm gonna be more worthy or valuable for my clients. I'm gonna be more valuable also for the public in general. I'm gonna create more impact for them. So in this way, I can really impact their life, which is gonna help them impact the life of people around them, right? So the main intention here is that I'm gonna be more valuable for the society when I do that for myself. So my intention is the freedom which I'm gonna create in my life by creating also more networks, it's going to help me to focus even more on what I love doing, and put aside if I do things which I don't want to do, or they are not so in alignment with who I am. A lot of people, when they talk, and I just want to talk 1 minute for that about networks, is that some people say that's the most important, other people say that's not important. And I'm just saying, why should be most important or not important is just something in our life. It's not about that the money, for example, is going to give you to be more, even more valuable for people, but they're going to give you freedom and options. And this freedom and options can really help you to really focus on what's the most important for you. And in this way, you're going to give more to the world. So that was very important for me when I was thinking about my intentions for this year. Why is there? And that's the reality. This is the importance for me of these things. So once you do all of this, I can be also more valuable for people, and that's the most important. That we are here on this earth to be valuable for this society. But there are things which going to happen, which can happen to create the environment for yourself, so that you can really focus on the society and really focus on giving the most of yourself there. So yeah, I think that was for me when it comes to intention. I'm going to share a little bit more when it comes to discipline. When we go to discipline, I'm going to share more on that. Yeah. So let's go to discipline, man. Let's go. So we have these intentions for the next year, and the last part today is gonna be about the discipline. How actually we can make sure that we are going towards these intentions in our life. What is your way of doing it? And I'm gonna share after that my way of doing it.
Hmm. Um, what comes to mind right now is just to be in line with my purpose in life. So, as I said in the previous sections that we discussed, so we spend so much time about things that we do, and most of the things we don't even love. Many times we're on an autopilot, but we don't spend time on ourselves. So spending time on ourselves could be, just every morning, in a safe space, in a quiet space, just think of my purpose in life. What is my purpose in life? Remind me of my purpose in life. And then use this as a compass in order to be aligned with whatever I want to do. So in the same way, think of what are my core values, my 5 most important values, and what are my 5 biggest priorities. So having in mind my purpose, my 5 biggest values and my 5 biggest priorities, this can give me clarity on what I want to do and how I want to do it. This will make me able to say no in a healthy way if something does not resonate with my purpose and my values and my core priorities. And it will give me perspective and focus on what I want to do. This is one thing that I'm thinking of. And the second thing is, apart from purpose and values and priorities, to focus on what my heart is saying. So, we are not our mind, we're not our heart, we're not our body, we're all of that together. And we have a brilliant mind, but we also have a body with its own intelligence, and we have a heart. So being aligned with who we are, body, mind, and heart, and soul, and using our intuition in order to see what is right and what is wrong, and moving towards the direction that our intuition tells us. These are the 2 main things that come to me right now.
That's all right, man. That's perfect. I mean, it's great that you share these things, and I'm going to share mine, and then people can really get and you can use Tassos, you can use me, you can use both of us in a way to create hybrid between us, or you can use your own way of doing it. But the best thing for me is, first of all, I just want to share about the intentions we shared before that. I'm using the word intention on purpose, not goals, because sometimes when I use goals, goes a little bit more around, we need to do it, I need to have this outcome and everything. Intention is more like, this is what I really want, this is what I want to focus on, this is what I want to put my time on. Sometimes it can happen, sometimes not, but the most important is that I go in this direction, because this is what is important for me right now. And now, when I say about myself, about the discipline, for me, I really, when I have the intentions, I want to put the discipline in order to do something every single day in order to work on that intention. That for me is very important. So when it comes to self-worth, definitely the intention which I want to create here, and they're disconnected also with the other one, but especially for self-worth, is this mindful self-compassion practice I do. And I recently, yesterday actually, I finished a course on that. I'm certified. I had a certificate of going through the course of mindful self-compassion. And
Congratulations.
thank you, man. So that was really great, because I was doing some informal practices before when it comes to self-compassion, but after this course, I really went another level on that, and I can see clearly how that impacts my life when it comes to how I feel about myself, how I react to myself in different situations, how actually I am more present and loving with myself and other people when I do that. And I'm my dedication this year is to really keep going with that every single day, formally and informally, going more deeper and deeper with this self-compassion practice. And on top of that, I joined a circle, which is about every week you can go 1 to 3 times with a group and really going and advancing your practice in that. And I have an intention later, because it has to be some time between now and starting the course for teacher, but I want to go to teacher's training on that, which actually is going to help me about my self-worth, but also is going to help me about my net worth, I guess. And it's going to help me also about my public worth, because I'm going to help more people in this way. So in this way, I can really combine these things. And the good thing is that when I do this mindful self-compassion practice, it helps me also to connect more with women in my life, like with the intimate relationship. I see that clearly with myself, and also um, with the person next to me. Is going to help me to really be more present, be more loving, be more kind, which is super important when it comes to this relationship. So this is one of the dedications I have, which is going to help actually in all the areas when we talk about that. Another thing which I'm going to focus on is to really focus on seeing the value in my practice and myself. Really focusing on realizing how important I can be for other people, for my clients, and for me in general, for the society. This is a practice which I'm going to keep going. I started doing that, but definitely I'm going to keep going doing that every single day. And I'm going to talking daily basis, because for me that's important to create a habit in our mind. So when I talk about small habit of our mind, but these habits of our mind, they help in the other one. So I'm gonna focus also on my dancing practice, as also Tassos knows that I'm doing salsa dancing, and that's so important for me, because it helps me to really challenge myself doing things which I'm not great at, even good at, and it helps me to really grow and develop different sides of my brain which was not developed before. And that's I'm one of my goals this year is to really go to the level when I feel that I really enjoy dancing. I still I'm still in my head, but when I really want to enjoy it, I really feel that this is something which I go there and just go in the flow with that. Um, I have a goal. After I do that with my dancing, I'm gonna start another thing which I want to really challenge me. It will be maybe martial art or something like this. But we'll see if that is going to be this year or next year. It depends on how I go with the practice. Another thing which I want is really to create a different relationship with money, to go to the next level in this relationship with money, because everything is a relationship with yourself, with other people. Money is a relationship as well. I go to the course, which is called Creating the Impossible, and I'm gonna start this in several days. So that's another dedication I have. So that just go to the place where I really create different relationship there, seeing it different way, connecting it with my, as Tassos said, my purpose, my vision, my values, so that I really see the realize fully why this is important in my life, and how this can help not only me but also the society around me, people around me, close people, clients, and everyone. Because for me, the motivation is coming from understanding that this is not only about you. And in all of these things which I shared now, the dedications I have for this year, they are not only about me. They are how these things can help me to become more worthy, more valuable, more influential for the society. Because in general, we are one. And if every one of us gives more and more, then we can really raise human race, right? And that's the reality of it. That's what makes us feel really good and satisfied inside. So and it's very important for, and also the happiness idea, the cracking the happiness in our life. Everyone wants to be happy. I got really interested more and more in the happiness idea, the hormones like dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, these kind of things. I'm gonna work more on that. But the idea here is that um, yeah, being disciplined daily with specific things, I believe it will help me to really create more of the intentions I have for this year. So this is from my side when it comes to discipline, and we are almost at the end of the session. We have 2 minutes more, where we can just Tassos, I'm gonna give you the word to share one of your last words of the session.
No, I would just like I was listening to all the wonderful things that you shared with us now, and what I'm hearing is that in order to be disciplined regarding your professional part, your professional life, what I'm hearing is applied learning, mindfulness, compassion. You mentioned applied learning creates new habits in your life, celebrating who you are and the contribution that you give to the world. Changing, the relationship with money, and getting into new areas like happiness, and also about your life. A kind of discipline is following your heart and having fun, dancing, doing what makes your heart sing. So, and this is a wonderful way, to follow these things with discipline, which is, for me, discipline seems to be a hard word, but it comes from disciple. So it's like you're a disciple of who you are and who you want to be. And it's something that comes from the heart eventually. And even though it seems a very structured word, a very word that you can put in a box, it can come from your heart and from the contribution that you want to give to yourself and to the world, and how you can be aligned to that. And you gave us a perfect example with what you said before.
Yeah, thank you, man. I mean, definitely, that's a great etymology, with disciple thing, because it is disciple of your self mastery. Not only your self mastery, but your value for the world. Because we are here to do that, and that's what I was saying. When you get more of, you feel that you're worthy, you feel that you're valuable, you feel that you're doing things, you're loving yourself, you put yourself out, you just get of yourself, and you start focusing on the world. And that's what people don't understand sometimes, that they think it's really selfish, but it's not actually selfless. Because once you deal with that, you could say, then you are really open towards focusing on life, focusing on other people. Because otherwise you are always in your head, and you're always trying to prove yourself. And that's what we don't want. We want to feel that we are enough, that we are great, that we are lovable, that everything is all right, so that we can focus on what we can do best. And it doesn't matter who you are, you're a doctor, you're a coach, you're a taxi driver, whatever. Then you focus on that, and in this way you contribute to the world. and that's I think the biggest learning, one of the biggest learnings for me. So before we go, we have 2 minutes. So tell me if you want to share a word or sentence with people, you know, just if you want to share something like last.
Okay, so what I would love to share is, you know, just be yourselves, be who you are, and listen to your heart, and rest in knowing that everything will unfold organically and at the right time and how it's meant to be. Never give up and walk on the path that you have chosen.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message, man. And I just want to share, guys, just listen to what Tassos said, and I want to tell you that just be the person for yourself, which you always wanted someone to be for you. Because if you are that, you're gonna see that transformation will follow inevitably with you. So thank you for being here, guys. We're gonna see each other soon, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.
Thank you.